Okay, thank you so very much. A very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. And let me then formally welcome us to this segment of this conference. And I want to open with a very short reference to a similar conversation like this I was a part of 30 years ago. That was on October in 1992. And what ACAMB has started to say, and I believe something, as you mentioned in your speech, that is going to be sustained. It is good for not only the banking industry and also the organized private sector, but for the entire Nigerian economy and society. And I say this deliberately also because of what happened then at that event. One elderly man, a manufacturer, I think in his late 60s at the time, and I believe if he's still alive today, he will be in his 90s. Right? He stood up and asked the question. I was then the chief economist and head of strategy of SME. And he said, who is a banker? And then we all began struggling. Different people standing up to define who a banker is, and those men kept saying no. But then at some point, Foladeola stood up and said, the banker is someone you can bank on. And as soon as Fola said that, the old man said, exactly. And there's nothing anymore he wants to ask. So now the conversation there became, what should the banker do for the organized private sector? And then the flip side of it was, what does the banker expect from the organized private sector? Which is why I'm excited about this conversation today. And happily, we are the bankers out, and then the organized private sector is well represented here. And so the conversation will go along that line, looking at the economy, production on one side, consumption on the other. Production led, organized private sector. Okay, they also consume some things in the process of what they produce, but essentially they are known for production. Now, on the consumption led, they produce what is consumed. But then the banker comes in the midst. The banker funds production, the banker also funds consumption. But we know fully well it is when this run excellently and efficiently, and the link between production and consumption is also efficient, what you call exchange or trade. That is when the economy grows. Which means collaboration between both sides is critical to the growth of our economy and also job creation and also livelihood, and then it comes to income and sustenance. So everything is aimed at growing the economy in a sustainable manner, also in a sustainable manner, and thirdly, inclusive. So three operating words here: sustained, sustainable, and inclusive. So that is the background to our conversation. So when I talk to the organized private sector, it will be more of what you expect from the bankers. And then when I come to the bankers, we'll also be talking about what they expect. Because we've had some data for the presentation thing so far. So we want to ensure that wherever the rough edges are, we put in them so that going forward, we can actually work together and achieve what we all desire. So thank you very much. That's the foundation that I think I should mention here. So let me start with the opiates. And if you don't mind, I will run from this side and we know how we are sitting. Okay? And that is, what are your concerns? So those concerns, I will say, don't give us a long laundry list. We want to come out with very few, the most important concerns that you have, especially the ones where bankers can intervene, so that we then begin our conversation from there. So, sir, I want to start from you, bro. You have the OCA. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the moderator. My name is Adam Adebayo. I'm representing the National President of the Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises. And at the same time, I'm equally the Lagos Chairman of NASI. I'm a professor of entrepreneurship, development, and I retired as an executive director of the foremost hygiene produce Nigeria. A lot of us might not even understand that though, we call it Dr. Brown. I'm the one of the executive director in charge of marketing. And if you look at it, these are companies being run by, established by old Nigeria in those days, even before the advent of PIG and others. They have been around since about 1979, and they are still around now. Now in the second generation running. Now what will I say when it comes to that? I'm an entrepreneur, and I want you to know one thing. This organization, the ACAMB that have brought this meeting now, cannot be better than that. Because if you look at exactly what is happening, every one of us will have an entrepreneur. Because when you look at the quality of an entrepreneur, you must be able to take risk. I want to be able to be responsible for your own action and reaction. So if you are not looking at that trend, what are we talking about? An average engineer will tell you, what do you need as an entrepreneur? The first thing they will say is money. And when you look at the level at which money is not accepting when it comes to entrepreneurship and development. So what we want the banker to do is to first of all identify what are the needs of these people. They wouldn't need that money at the first instance. A lot of money has been sought into the entrepreneurship for different enterprises in Nigeria. Even what from the central bank and the government. But up to this level, are those money really have a serious impact? No. Why is not only have a serious impact? Number one, what we really need is for the people practicing this entrepreneurship is to have what we call financial literacy and knowledge. Financial literacy and knowledge, everybody will be asking for what you don't even know about. If I'm a farmer, they will tell you an entrepreneur, they want to produce your cash flow. What do I speaking to this grammar? What do I know about the cash flow? Explain to me. Divide it in a way that I will understand. So you look at it that you have over 45 million micro and small business, and in the last 2021 report of the PwC, they say 20% of those small businesses go bad, close up within 5 years. It's not up to 5 years, this one are 2 years. Most of them are just having that certificate there, and that's why safety is having problems. You have multiple companies that are funding. So what we need to do, how do we help this small business to be structured and have these financial reports? My organization as media, we are working on something. We call it FPC 360. By God's grace, we hope, and I thank God that the central bank man is around there. We hope to get the approval before the end of this year, so that can now be deployed to all the small businesses. What qualifies the FPC 360? FPC 360 is about telling you that 360 days in the year, every day you must log into that system. And what you need is a smartphone or a tablet. Then where the market can come in. We are working with the leading companies now, and those have defined the financial technology organizations that are working with us being sponsored by other organizations across the world. And what they are doing is that you just need to log all those things in your reports and press process. And at the end of the day, we will give you your debit and your credit and everything, including the human resources and including the inventory and including everything that are done for the day. And at the end of the week, it will be 5 days, Monday to Friday, it will be 6 days, and you know that every don't work for 6 days, and some of us won't even work on Sunday. So it is there, then it will equally work with your tax. Then by the time you put it there, and that won't work, you just find out that it gets out of it. The banker should be able to support us, and they will be able to sponsor us. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I think we want to hear from you now.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ifeanyi Okuta. I'm the Director General of the Nigerian Association of Small Scale Industrialists. I'm also a chemical engineer and a business person for many decades since childhood. I'm happy to, of course, be to engagement. It's a short one,
So we won't be able to thrash out the major issues that surround problems to the small-scale industrialists, the small-scale business person in Nigeria. The OPS as a whole constitutes the large players and the small players. The small players being those in NASI and NASMI, and we are, let's say, we outnumber the big players 5,000 to 1. We outnumber them, the big players. Our collective income and our collective trading outnumbers them 5,000 to 1. However, because of millions of people in small places, and these are larger players in large places, we were able to see our true impact as a group, as of now. So that means most of the visibility goes to the larger players, even though we're all in the same association. The biggest challenge, because this happened before, in NASI we call it a parallel economy. The Nigerian economy is robust in the real sense, but what you see in whatever forum, the East Medan, any forum you see, you're seeing less than 5% of the real economy. The parallel economy is the largest economy in Africa. That's the Nigerian parallel economy. Our biggest enemy in the parallel economy happens to be, I forgive me for saying it correctly, our biggest enemy in the Nigerian economy, small-scale industrialists, our biggest enemy happens to be the CBN and the Bankers Committee. Okay? I'm telling you as it is. Our biggest enemy has always been this group. Now we've seen, in many cases, people, if it was a normal economy, the OPS would view the bankers not only as partners, but as members of our committee. I mean, active members of what we do. But we all view bankers as part of government. Why do we do so? Because until recently, the bank's main interest was the public sector, was government money. The banks have not traditionally built their institutions by supporting real business in this country. And this is a very serious challenge. There's been improvements over the past few years, but some things are scandalous and must be dealt with. When banks come to the public and say, for example, the CBN says it's providing 300 billion or something for SME, and dealing with such volumes of money through banks, but not dealing with the actual people who need this access. When the CBN or the other parties roll out a list of people who they're supporting post-COVID, and this list of participants or people is not transparent. You don't come to talk to real business people. You give them a list of names and people you're supporting with billions of naira, but boots on the ground, we're not seeing it. These are the challenges we face. That's why I say the CBN and the Bankers Committee have actively hurt our economy by not supporting the real economy of Nigeria. But it's time to change that. We're happy to work with you guys to change this. Once the willingness is there, not politically based willingness, actively on the ground. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Thank you. So let me call to this. I noticed that the educators killed the banker in delivery. We come back to the banker. Let's hear from you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Edobong Akpabio. I'm the chairperson of the Agriculture and Allied Group of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. This is a very welcome development for us in the agriculture sector because our engagement with the banks have not been very satisfactory. We believe strongly that the banks do not understand our business. The banks do not understand that there is agribusiness that is beyond agriculture. I still have bankers ask me every time I introduce myself as an agriculture entrepreneur, and they're asking me, what do you do? Is it cassava? Is it fish? Is it poultry? If that is all that the banks know, no wonder we are still where we are. And we also discovered that a lot of the banks seem to have an agriculture desk, but those officers that are supposed to attend to us are also having portfolios that are outside agriculture, because the essence of their duties is to be able to meet their targets. So if they are not getting targets from agriculture, they are going to oil and gas. So the same officers that should attend to us are also attending to other sectors. And that does not allow them to learn and understand what we do. For us, essentially, we understand that the banks are supposed to help our businesses with financial support and intervention. We accept that. But we also want the banks, having understood our businesses, they will know that what we need is patient capital. Agriculture is not a fast food. Agriculture needs patient capital to grow, and the banks have to understand that. I still do not believe that in this day and age, banks should be giving us moratorium of 6 months. It doesn't make sense. Sometimes I do not even have 6 months to start paying anything. So if you tell me to start paying interest based on what? So we have those issues we are still trying to thrash out. Advocacy can help, and we've done a lot of that. But this engagement today gives us the opportunity to tell bankers that we need to have dedicated officers that are trained to understand our business. We used to have that in the past. The big banks, First Bank, Union Bank, I tell you, they encouraged me in this business because they understood what I needed, even as a startup. Now let me tell you, it wasn't about the money, it was about the contacts. Everything I needed, they had it indoor. If I needed a service provider for land clearing, they had someone who was into machinery as a customer, and they would release that customer to me. If I needed land, even they had a real estate professional who was a customer of the bank, and they would give me that access for me to get what I want. So it's not all about money. All your customers do not just need money, especially for us in agriculture. We will trust the customers that the networking that you do for us, and it will help our businesses better. So let's look beyond the money, and let's be able to engage in another level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good morning once again. I'm Wale Smart. I'm the Director General from NECA. And we are, fortunately for now, we are the Secretariat of the OPS, the Organized Private Sector, comprising MAN, SEMA, NASME, NASI, and NECA. The Secretariat rotates every 2 years between the 5 organizations. So NECA happens to be the Secretariat currently, and it's our pleasure to be here. While we align with, and I won't contradict what the DG has said, because we align absolutely with that line of thought. But from our perspective, we want to approach it from 3 areas. And the Gladys Maynard, when you mentioned those 3 components that the conversation focused on: sustain, sustainable, and inclusiveness. And we look at it from those 3 perspectives, because we don't want to presuppose that the banks doesn't have problems. We don't want to presuppose they don't have regulatory issues. And we don't also want to presuppose that the challenges that we experience in the ecosystem, they are isolated from it. So once we're in Nigerian business, you probably have 1 or 2 of those challenges. And I think for me, the operational issues to leverage on DG is the challenge of us aligning the imperative for profit with the need for inclusive growth and national development. While making profit is fundamental to every business, it is also important that while we make profit, the banks they churn out huge profits every year, and start wondering, is it the same economy that we are operating? So while the focus is where we drive for profit, I think it's also very important to also and it seems to be self-sufficient within the context of operation. And we believe the opportunity to collaborate is all very large. And then lastly is reputational issues. We have a lot of partnership collaborations, even with international agencies, to help organizations drive reputational issues. So once you are challenged, they have the platform, they have the structure to help navigate through reputational issues. One of those issues we face is the reputational issues, and the need for us to work together to reduce those disinformation about the banks, and the banks to also communicate effectively. But those imperatives cannot be overruled. Thank you very much.
Thank you, moderator, and everyone. But I will not sound repetitive because a lot has been said by my colleagues. But if you will recall that when President Obama was speaking, he emphasized the need of partnering to succeed. We must see ourselves as partners. My colleague from NECA has designated challenges that all that is not only common to industries, is also applicable to banks. If the banks can partner with OPS, they're supposed to be member of OPS. They're supposed to be member of NACIMA and NECA, But if they stay on their own because of their lack of humongous nature they have a fund they can do. All of us, when we are attacked, all of us will fall together. But if there is this collaborative nature that we are forming now, coming together to discuss and provide solutions to help to fight external forces that are attacking the businesses. Now let me take us to one of the issues that we always talk about, throwing money to programs. Throwing money to programs does not solve the problem. You must get the people that are affected to carry them along before you design a program for them. You can't have somebody's head in his absence. What the CBN does most times with all these policies or all these, what they call it, intervention funds, is that we do it at the back of the people that needed that funds. So when it came out, we have thrown 10 trillion to the private sector. They are not, how many of the private sector needed 10 trillion? Is that what they need? You don't sit down with those people and fashion out a policy that will help them to grow. We all in this economy, we all Nigerians. Let's not see ourselves, them and we. Yes, CBN staff are working there today. Tomorrow, they may be this side. Let's see how we can develop this economy for the benefit of every one of us. Not because I am opportune today to be the one that is teaching out the funds, and then the other person is the receiving end. Let me deal with it. It doesn't work that way. We must partner. And that's why I appreciated this coming together. Because all this 1 trillion for manufacturers, 10 trillion for this, all this, and there was no input from the people that we wanted to help. So there is need again for more synergy between CBN and the businesses. Another issue again that are crippling industries currently is the forex availability. It has happened before. This is not the first time in Nigeria that we've passed through that. In 1987, 88, 89, we went through this kind of crisis, and we came out of it. How do we manage it? There was a priority allocation to sectors that are important, the sectors that grow the economy. Why not we restore back that priority allocation? Because at that time, I could recall from the books I read that CBN stopped giving this money to politicians and focused on businesses. And businesses were generating more returns, more income for the government, and government came out of the recession. But this case now, imagine a business owner applying for $1 billion and you are giving him $10,000, if at all. What will he do with it? He can't do anything with it because the $1 million was projected for something. So I also asked CBN, thank God the deputy director of the if the priority sector can be restored back, so that we can help these industries to prosper. Another also issue I want us to look at is, the banking systems, bankers see businesses not an enemy per se. We are not all crooks. For somebody to set up a factory, that person is not a criminal because you can easily locate him. But if I come to ask you for money, you begin to ask me to bring my grandmother, my grandfather, everybody as collateral, then it means that you are suspecting that I'm criminal in nature. Yes, I understand that some businesses are like that. But if a manufacturer set up plants, have machines, have a building, put in workers, and are asking you for some funds, you need to look at few things and then benefit of doubt. I know it's our money too. It's our customers' money. I know. Because that's why we always ask Nigerian bankers not to look at the commercial nature. Look at the developmental nature. Let's see how we can be a developmental banks and not profit. Yeah, because when we look at the huge profits being declared by banks, and then the profit being declared by companies. In the same economy, like you said, we begin to wonder, is there supposed to be a correlation between bankers' growth and then businesses' growth? But when bankers are growing and businesses are coming down, it doesn't show that there is this synergy or collaboration between both of us. We can fashion out a way to work around it and make it better. That's my suggestion. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much. We've had quite a lot. A number of issues have been raised. But in order to balance the question, I will come to the banker who is speaking for the industry. So what is the regulator?
Thank you very much. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Executive Director of the Banking Supervision Department of the Central Bank of Nigeria. I'm a regulator. We see most of the goals of the bank. When you talk about financing for small people, I think this year the central bank has done a lot. We have a lot of funding in that sector, like we alluded to. Trillions of naira available to be taken. And also, for the purpose of funding, the banks are supposed to approach the CBN on behalf of their customers to solve this problem. If they don't approach the CBN, the fund will be sitting there. I'm aware that the Development Bank of Nigeria was established in collaboration with the CBN and the physical authorities to provide funding. I'm also aware the Bank of England does a lot as well for the manufacturing sector. Those are the major reasons why those two entities were established. And we, the manufacturing sector, approach those two entities with the funds available, rather by emphasizing the commercial banks. The commercial banks lend for credit, for profits. We have the primary responsibility to protect the depositors. We have a long history of defaults by lenders or borrowers. We have over 5 trillion naira sitting with ACAMB, with the CBN to clean up the system, to let there be stability in the banking sector. We're talking about 4 trillion naira. The people that borrow this money are still within the system, manufacturers, traders, in various sectors of the industry. They are not paying. What happened to those funds? What was the corporate program with respect to lending those funds out? From our own experience, people borrow in this country and don't want to pay back. People borrow with the intention not to pay back. If we borrow to pay back, we will not be having to talk about it now. We will not. And the commercial bank have the responsibility to reach out with their stakeholders, essentially the shareholders. They have the primary responsibility to do that. I think the manufacturing sector will further maybe put pressure on banks of industry, Development Bank of Nigeria, I think the resource more for. When we see a lot of pressure from those two entities, the CBN will provide rather passing the intervention from through the commercial bank, we will push most of the funds to those two entities. If you don't put pressure on those two entities, for them to provide financing, and we have an engagement with them, We have a lot of people in farming business approaching us, people in small business approaching us. Can you provide further funding for CBN of value that rather than giving to commercial bank? The CBN will give it to those two entities, government owned. Rather than approaching a commercial bank that will give you a loan, a commercial loan at 18 or 19%. Those two entities will give you that at below those rates. I think I want to appeal that the industrialists, as well as the small businesses, approach those two entities to get funding. I also need to look at something again. They also, the extent to receiving that area of funding, if we talk about funding, I will look at the aspect of the structure of this economy. Do we have enough support from the physical authority? Do we have that? We need to take that into consideration. Many of the interventions from the CBN have done has to do with a collaboration or memos we have received from the organized private sector. Feedback from the organized private sector. We need funding for agriculture, we need funding for rice, we need funding for palm kernel, we need funding for importation of this particular product. Those many of the interventions will have a consequence of the memos we get from the organized private sector. We don't just give out funding. If the particular sector don't require those funds, we will not intervene. We know they are challenged. And the government also is a supervisory authority. The presidency, if we're doing for that, if we're doing certain directives, can we enhance funding to this particular sector of the economy? Yes, we can. We can provide. The question is this: if we create that platform, the sound I'm hearing that it's as if most of the people that approach or get those funds are not really into the businesses. Yeah. That's what I'm hearing. But the question is, they approach the bank, the commercial bank. The commercial bank did a due diligence and confirmed that entire line of business. They have the pedigree for that business. Then approach the CBN to provide from the intervention fund for me to finance this sector. The CBN has done its own thing. From what the feedback I'm also hearing that it's as if those funds do not even go to pay. Because I'm also hearing that many of those guys in that sector that approach those interventions are not in that line of business. And I think they point there, people collect money with the intention of the pay. We have in the banks a lot of suffering, and we see a lot of suffering. So we have some programs that are given to the banks for them to continue to be a business. So it is not only funding you require, you also need to approach well organized for you to get your funding from the banks as well as from the CBN. Initially, when I saw the topic for this first national stakeholders conference, take collaboration, indeed, synergy between the banking sector and the national private. I was surprised. What are you talking about? What kind of synergy? Is it not in existence? All the funds you say in your banks will be over 15 trillion naira to the manufacturing sector. If there was no synergy, how did they give them form of loans? Are you reporting wrongly to the CBN? Yeah, so how that we go to the banks, we see 10 trillion. Manufacturing sector, service sector, IT section. We talk about farming business. Where are those funds going to? Then have you not been, is there no collaboration? Yeah, because when I saw the term, I was surprised. What is synergy? Then I'm the regulator. I'm also surprised that we have this association in existence. There has not been enough collaboration. The banking sector with the organized private sector, as well as the general public. There are a lot of things that are operational. We just hear it in silos. Like one of the recent ones, they are approaching the CBN issue a directive that all associations should do this, provide that. That was not issued by the CBN. That was a directive from the CBN. The question is an operational issue. It's a KYC issue as a consequence of CAMB. We have a lot of statutory documents in existence that the banking sector, the bankers, especially the association of corporate affairs managers, the banks need to sensitize the public. You've not done a lot of sensitization. It's not the CBN is also trying to do the bankers community. We sensitize with respect to our intervention for. But the banking sector or the bankers need to do a lot of sensitization with respect to the products they have in place, with respect to operational issues. We should not be seeing a situation where the public is approaching the CBN for issues. The bank should have given further clarification rather than coming to the regulator for such prayer. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Now, you've spoken to shareholders, and they're also responsible to their own customers, especially the depositors. Those monies are being given out as loans. So now, I will come back to the DG of NASA, and that is, your earlier comment, which of course the CBN director here also alluded to, that a lot of intervention funds did not get the small scale industrialists. Now the perspective I want us to interrogate is this: if much of the money, the intervention fund, went to the big players, okay, somebody, but I want us to interrogate this. Why would a bank be interested in lending to a big player in the manufacturing sector in Nigeria and not a small industrialist? But that will give us an idea of what probably we need to change at our own end. Yes, please.
Okay, I'll address this in a couple of areas. For those of you who have been long enough in banking, you remember that in the early days of the Obasanjo administration, something was set up which was supposed to take a percentage of the profits from banks, and that percentage was supposed to be put in a pool to be on-lent to business. At the time, I was not a member of NASA. That very matter and the scandalous way it was handled, that made me realize that the bankers community was an enemy to small business person. Those funds were not dispersed. Those funds were quite clear. That money, the maximum amount dispersed was 5% of it. But this is money set aside from the profits. And by government today, asked to augment the real economy. And by then, the real economy. Now let's bring this forward to today. We're then again now having a multiple funds announced, newspaper funds. We're having our members apply for these funds. We're seeing that we get reels of people being announced as having received this from those types of programs, and we're at a loss. And we're saying to ourselves, what do we do with government to make government realize that it's throwing the wage, my colleague has said, throwing money at the problem is also the problem. Now, sorry.
Yeah, because okay, that's why would the banks now be interested, because I think it's now, to lend to small investors? Yeah.
Now, one of the things that happened in the past 5 years, which we believed would make banks feel more comfortable if the issue was one of comfort, was that a small asset, a movable assets register was created. At our instance, to enable banks use this as security, because you see, the little guy does not have the collateral security that you're asking for. Now, it may interest the general public to know that even when banks demand for security, the bankers themselves know that security has brought forward by at least 70% of the borrowers does not belong to the borrowers. Nigeria has a black market for collateral. I assure you, there's a black market for collateral security. You pay 10% or 20% to the owner of the security for the money you're borrowing. So already you're 20% down to the owner of the security. And then you're borrowing to the bank, you're 25-30% to the bank. So you're 45-50% already, but the business hasn't started. The bankers know. If the banks claim not to know, that's a blatant lie. They know that the security being pledged is not real. It's black market security. And that's why the CBN and all these folks can come up and tell us how many trillion naira are taken by AMCON when at that time the banks demanded and got security. Where is the security? Why should the money go bad and they can't recover the money? Because it's black market security.
Okay, thank you for raising that issue, because it's coming out in the book that is a black market of collateral. That also comes at a price, 20% as mentioned, which will mean an addition to the rate that we have led. Now, the issue is this for the banker, and when we take it from a sectoral perspective, the sector aspect to their risk. Now, is there a possibility that the OPS, as a group, can also come up within the association with schemes that can de-risk lending to your members?
Very easy. Can I I'll let you do it.
No.
This isn't rocket science, okay? And what I'll say now, you guys who are bankers, your jobs are at risk. I'm sure you know that already. Any banker in this country who is a traditional banker, the fintech rise has put your jobs at 70% risk. But there's a very simple solution that will protect your jobs, the banker's jobs. If you work with us, just like one of our people who have said here, you guys have desks. The bankers have desks which deal with education. And the people in those desks, they know everything about the schools. They know what the cycle, they know everything about the schools. It takes boots on the ground to know this. You have desks for oil and gas. It's oil and gas desks. You have people who are even engineers, etc., who are employed by the banks, who understand the industry and who support the industry. This creates security for your own bankers' jobs. But how many other sectors are there untouched? The banks, once the government, our government itself, very simply, it's not across the world. The government puts what you call just like a sovereign security. But it's a government guarantee. The government is saying, you know what, we hereby guarantee this folks. Our government, our banks, need to guarantee Nigerian business people the same amount of loss internationally. This story of MSMEs, the first 5 years out of business, that happens globally. It's not a Nigerian problem. It's a global problem. But how do they deal with it there? You don't criminalize failure. Nigeria criminalizes failure. So even in the midst of all that's going on, a lot of people will never go to borrow from our banks. They need the money, they're desperate, they're starving, they say, I will never borrow from a Nigerian bank. Why? Because they criminalize failure. The banking system, the government of Nigeria puts in place a law, a dot check law, and says that if you issue a check against money that is not in an account, you are committing a criminal offense. The CBN here tells the Nigerian businessman that your check, if you give a dot check, you will be banned from getting money from the banks. And then the CBN watches our banks tell people, if you're borrowing money, give an empty post-dated check. The small business guy, every small businessman gives a bank or the microfinance bank an undated check. The bank presents the check once you cannot meet the payment. You bring it to the bank, your business has collapsed, you're facing challenges. The bank takes the check, posts it, calls the SFU, the EFCC, arrests the business person. Criminalizes a good, hard-working businessman. Our businessmen and women are languishing today because the CBN and the banks collaborate to make us their enemies. Why should the CBN allow people to give post-dated checks and then say, if the check bounces, you're a criminal and arrest the person? It's a criminal thing for the bank to do. So the CBN is complicit in destroying our economy. I put it to you, you will all enter business. Any banker is here, you will enter business. The bank, the CBN can help you to make your job secure. It's very simple. Talk to us, we will support you. But don't criminalize failure in Nigeria. You criminalize failure, all the Nigerian women, talk to them. I don't want to borrow from the bank. Why? The banks criminalize failure. The CBN criminalizes failure. Which country doesn't have people that have to restructure loans? Every country has it. But in Nigeria, the bank has the power to jail you because your business failed. Thank you.
Thank you. Last year, echoed the sentiment of the OPS as well. But for the, as I said, no time where those loans fall. Loans will always move back for certain reasons. Either for the reasons you created yourself, or for the reasons that are posted of you in the environment. And considering the kind of environment, it's not quality local environment, it's not quality local plus environment. So the system, if you are not careful, you are set up to fail for giving, because a small business that has collected a loan and also has to provide the loan, must worry about power, worry about security, worry about so many factors that were not considered as issue. So if it's not careful, it's always set up to fail. Now, permit me to say this for the elders in the house. I say, if somebody is, or somebody has the propensity to want to commit suicide tonight, and if you love the person too, you will do well to try not to put knife around the person. Now, if we have trillions and trillions of loans that have gone bad, and unfortunately we couldn't change those persons, those individuals that wanted to do, I think it makes a lot of business sense for all of us, as ACAMB, to work with who exactly we call the organized practices. Sometimes there is a disappointment when you spoken to the organized practice sector, you spoken to organized business. And the issue for us with the OPS, who exactly are this person that spoke? NECA as an organization now, we have over 25 sectoral athletes. Oil and gas, food and beverages, shop and facilities. Also a number of them that are affiliates of NECA. And they are functioning and have their own executive organs. Now, it will be better if we create structures, and this is the CBN. We create structures to work with the OPS, the OPSN as an institution, to help us to identify those that are actually applying for this, those that are collecting this. That structure will help us to reduce and mitigate these challenges of, yes, giving trillions and trillions of dollars. Some of those interventions that were given by the CBN, and I think one of our issues, the president actually requested the duties to actually sample opinions of members. If you have received the loan, if you apply and receive the loan, get back to us at the secretariat so that we have the data of it. It is surprising that we did get 0.001% of all members of the registered OPS that said they applied and they told you. Now, the issue is who exactly are those that received it. So that gives us back the issue of due diligence. When we say due diligence is related. What do you mean by due diligence from the back end? And as we have said, it's due diligence that accepts the collaterals that were purchased from the black market, or due diligence that actually verify that yes, this business exists and this business actually belongs to an association. Because NACI is recognized by the federal government. NECA is recognized institutionally as the voice of business. MAN is recognized, NASME is recognized, FCCI is recognized. That if any of those organizations that is applying for it doesn't belong to any of those organizations, NASME, small and medium scale,
NASI, small scale industrialist, MCI, if you don't belong to any of those organizations, in which ecosystem are you actually operating? And those are the fundamental questions.
The issues are getting clearer at the moment. And so, looking also at our time, I want to talk to the audience and possibly also know that there are backers here. Or probably we want to raise also some issues that the OPS should give attention to. So, as a moderator, I don't want to take the sort of speaking for any consideration. So, manage to get you to talk.